Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and it is May the 9th, and we're ready for Lesson 129 in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students, the one-year journey. And Lesson 129 is Beyond This World, There is a World I Want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. Before we read it, yesterday's lesson was preparing us for this lesson. The world I see has nothing that I want. And I have to let go of the world you want. If you see that it holds nothing you want, then you can see that there's another world beyond appearances. The world you see has nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Believe this thought and you are saved from years of misery. That was yesterday. We're going to look at this just a minute and hit some high points to it. But do you believe that it holds nothing to give you joy, and that we could be saved from years of misery if we believed that? No one but must accept this thought as true if he would leave this world behind and soar beyond its petty scope and little ways. The only purpose worthy of the mind this world contains is what? That you pass it by. Work at passing it by. Work at self-realization, where you are beyond the world that appears that's appearing to us. This world of duality and pain and death and sickness. Be you deceived no more. The world you see has nothing that you want. We've been deceived, perhaps, thinking that this world contains something we wanted. Whether it's in a relationship or a physical item, an education, an employment, something specific in a relationship, want things to be done a certain way. It could be so many, it's an unlimited amount of possibilities of things you may want. But if they're not predicated on the real world, they're vulnerable, they're threatening, they're not real, they're painful, they bring you misery. All things you seek to make your value greater in your sight limit you further. Hide your worth from you and add another bar across the door that leads to true awareness of yourself. Let nothing which relates to body thoughts delay your progress. Wow. Today we practice letting go all thought of values we have given to the world. Thus do we lift the chains which bar the door to freedom from the world and go beyond all little values and diminished goals. See, they're not worthy enough of us, these goals that are diminished and are of little value. Our value is eternal, and unless we're abiding in our eternal stature and substance, we're not going to be complete in peace and joy. Peace and be still a little while. He starts off paragraph 6. Peace. Peace, bro. Peace out. Peace and be still a little while. And see how far you rise above the world, where you release your mind from chains and let it seek the level where it finds itself at home. It will be grateful to be free a while. It knows where it belongs, but free its wings and it will fly in sureness and in joy to join its holy purpose. I just love that. Your guide is sure. Open your mind to him. Be still and rest. And then there at the end yesterday, he said, and I hope you did this throughout the day, protect your mind still throughout the day as well. And when you think you see some value in an aspect or an image of the world, refuse to lay this chain upon your mind and tell yourself with quiet certainty, this will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. I pull that out. This will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Anyway, I've already written the other lesson for today on the other side of my card. So I usually get 2 lessons out of 1 card. All right. This will not tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Did you find things to acknowledge throughout the day when you were doing your various chores of the day? I don't need to let that tempt me to delay myself. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Okay, well, I'm in this wonderful, wonderful smell zone right now with this. This is called an angel face rose, and an angel face has a really wonderful fragrance. Anyway, so really good smell. I thought I'd wait till I had it here in front of you. Look at this one here, bloomed and it's already broke off, and this would be the rose hip right here. So I'm thinking you break that off. Now I'm not going to eat this one because I purchased it from a dealer that may use kind of, it's not, if it was organic I would, is what I'm trying to say, but not being organic, I might or might not. I usually wouldn't, is what I'm trying to say. I'll probably let it grow in my yard for a month or so, and of course I've had it for maybe a month. I mean, it's probably fine, come to think of it. Anyway, a little rose hip, and those things, let them dry in the fall, or you can take them off as they go. I think it's probably better to take them off and let them dry on their own, but I'm not sure on that. And they may vary with the variety. So anyway, those really smell good, and that's an angel face rose. It's one I had in here yesterday, and I just thought I'd show it to you today. All right. Okay, let's go to our lesson 129. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. And thank you all for joining me on this year-long journey. And if we don't get it this year, we've always got next year. And, I'm even thinking that, I don't know exactly what all happens after this veil we call death, but we're still growing and serving God. And maybe we study this kind of stuff on that side too. And maybe we really get it quick because we've been practicing here, or I'm not sure how all that works, but one thing I do know is that we just do the best we can, and if we need to do it again, we can, and eventually I'm convinced that this particular manuscript will bring about enlightenment to anybody who practices it and does what it says. And whatever enlightenment means to you, I'm sure that it's out of this world. It's joyous. It's peaceful. It's liberating. It's duplicatable, contagious, spreads out and makes everybody feel good. It's love. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. So that world we want to bring to this world, the world of love. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. This is the thought which follows from the one we practiced yesterday. Yesterday, what we've been talking about. The world I see holds nothing that I want. You cannot stop with the idea the world is worthless, for unless you see that there is something else to hope for, you'll only be depressed. Okay? You didn't give us enough time to be depressed, hopefully. We're just going to go, okay, we're just following along. If we'd stayed there for a while, we might have said, no, hold it just a minute. This is kind of depressing. So he's saying, no, we just set that world aside for a minute. Now today, let's see that there is a world. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. Our emphasis is not on giving up the world, but on exchanging it for what is far more satisfying, filled with joy and capable of offering you peace. Capable of offering you peace. Think you this world can offer that to you? This world of change? Look, he's going to say, it might be worth a little time to think once more about the value of this world. Perhaps you will concede that there is no loss in letting go all thought of value here. The world you see is merciless indeed, unstable, cruel, unconcerned with you, quick to avenge and pitiless with hate. It gives but to rescind and takes away all things that you have cherished for a while. No lasting love is found, for none is here. This is the world of time, where all things end. Okay? In the world of time, all things end. And beyond this world, there's a world I want, though. A world that time and distance don't separate. Something in the eternal now. Now forever. my nephews get married down, I think, the oldest town in North America, St. Augustine, Florida today. And I haven't got to meet his wife, but Spencer. I'm glad that he is in my life, and I bless him. Send the flowers in spirit to his union with his new bride. That I'll be glad to meet the two of you soon. It is so anyway, what I'm saying, this is the world of time where all things end. Well, maybe in the world itself, but the relationship can transcend time. Our relationship with God, with each other, there is a world beyond this that lasts forever. It is a loss to find a world, and is it a loss to find a world where losing is impossible, where love endures forever? Hate cannot exist and vengeance has no meaning. And if hate cannot exist, maybe you could even think withholding love cannot exist. Tone it down a bit, make it meaningful to you. You can say, well, I don't hate anybody. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the point is that just use something, with you probably recognize that you've been withholding love occasionally. Well, heaven's not that way. We don't ever need to withhold any of the beauty of giving and receiving of love. That joy that's instant, constant, and forever. Vengeance has no meaning in that world. Is it lost to find all things you really want and know they have no ending, and they will remain exactly as you want them throughout time? Your relationship can transcend time and last forever. We have to see it in a bigger picture than till death do we part. Paragraph 4. Yet even they will be exchanged at last for what we cannot speak of. For you go from there to where words fail entirely, into a silence where the language is unspoken, yet surely understood. I went there with my wife who died. I'll tell you that story someday, but not today. Yet even they will be exchanged at last for what we cannot speak of. For you go from there to where words fail entirely, into a silence where the language is unspoken, yet surely understood. I went to visit her after she had crossed in a dream, and we talked telepathically, and yet we understood each other perfectly. And someday I'll probably tell you that story. I'll tell everybody that likes to listen to me. That's one of the biggest changes that ever took place in my life was that dream of my deceased wife, Diane, coming back and pointing me the way, telling me to follow beauty. Communication, unambiguous and plain as day, remains unlimited for all eternity. And God himself speaks to his Son as his Son speaks to him. Their language has no words, for what they say cannot be symbolized. Wow. Their language has no words because what they say cannot be symbolized. Their knowledge is direct and wholly shared and wholly one. And remember, we're all part of God, the body of Christ. And we can maintain that shared reality forever. Time can't touch that world. How far away, paragraph 5, how far away from this are you who stay bound to this world? And yet how near are you when you exchange it for the world you want? Now is the last step certain. Now you stand an instant space away from timelessness. Here can you but look forward, never back, to see again the world you do not want. Here is the world that comes to take its place as you unbind your mind. From little things the world sets forth to keep you prisoner there. And bind your mind to little things the world sets forth to keep you prisoner there. Value them not, and they will disappear. Value them not, and they will disappear. Remember, your heart is where your treasure is. Esteem them, and they will seem real to you. Your heart is where your treasure is. So we're going to have our heart set on the treasure, God's treasure, love, our true identity, our self we share with each other and God. Love your neighbor and yourself, and love God with all your heart. That's where we put our treasure. Such is the choice. What loss can be for you in choosing not to value nothingness? And that's a good way to look at it, isn't it? What loss can be for you in choosing not to value nothingness? Double negative. This world holds nothing that you really want, but what you choose instead you want indeed. Let it be given you today. It waits but for your choosing it to take the place of all the things you seek but do not want. Been seeking things we really don't want. 7, practice your willingness to make this change 10 minutes in the morning and at night, and once more in between. Begin with this. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. I choose to see that world instead of this, for here is nothing that I really want. Then close your eyes upon the world you see, and in the silent darkness watch the lights that are not of this world light, one by one, until where one begins another ends, losing all meaning as they blend in one. The light has come. That's what we're wanting to come into the world where the light has come. Today, the lights of heaven bend to you, to shine upon your eyelids as you rest beyond the world of darkness. Here is the light your eyes cannot behold, your inner vision, as it lights up and you see the truth. And yet your mind can see it plainly and can understand. A day of grace is given you today, and we give thanks. A day of grace. Just chill and be still and silent and let the real world come and give thanks. This day we realize that what you feared to lose was only loss. What you feared to lose was only loss. I love his humor. Paragraph 11. Now do we understand there is no loss? Now do we understand there is no loss? For we have seen its opposite at last. And we are grateful that the choice is made. Wow. Remember your decision hourly and take a moment to confirm your choice by laying by whatever thoughts you have and dwelling briefly only upon this. The world I see has nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world is a world. There is a world I want. So this day we realize that what you feared to lose was only loss. Now do we understand there is no loss, for we have seen its opposite at last, and we are grateful that the choice is made. We can either choose loss or abundance, pain or sorrow, or pain and sorrow, or joy and freedom. And the choice is ours. And how much faith do you have? Can you trust that God will lead you always like he always is anyway? Can you be aware of it and choose that instead of a petty loss that only brings you more illusion? Okay, so until tomorrow, the world I see has nothing I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. So say that to you often. The world I see has nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want.